think how I should intro this week.
I'm so excited.
Because you're so excited.
Hey everybody, this is the Fair Hair Trilogy, and this week we're reviewing The Curl Prince. I'm so excited. I'm Callie.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Lindsay. So let's start with the poem.
Okay.
Shall we? Children born of fairy stock never need for shirt or frock, never want for food or fire, always get their heart's desire. Jingle pockets full of gold, merry when they're 7 years old. Every fairy child may keep 10 strong ponies and 10 sheep. All have houses, each his own, built of brick or granite stone. They live on cherries, they run wild. I'd love to be a fairy's child.
That's good.
I had read that before I had picked up this book. It's such a beautiful poem.
I have a weird question.
Okay.
Are they tiny or are they full-sized? Because sometimes they talk about like filling up a tiny acorn, like
Oh,
drinking poison or
That's
whatever.
the first time I've thought about that. You're right.
No, she talked about like the little sprites
Yeah.
and stuff. So if they're little,
Maybe it's so strong that she can't drink big, giant goblets.
Yeah, it's like a...
because it's always like their liquor and stuff like that.
yeah.
Mm,
I hope. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
mm.
Can you imagine that Carden? He's like, and he's like little. So let's go with the Carden. Can we just talk about him for a second?
He's my favorite character.
Oh, Linz.
He was incredible.
Okay, so I gotta tell you a story. I went over to Ashley's house, and I had not finished the book yet. I had not gotten to more depth of his character. And I was like, she's totally gonna fall in love with Carden. And Ashley was like, seriously? That's what you think? I'm like, yeah, you don't see it too? She's like, I don't know, there's other guys like making eyes at her. And I'm like, what guy? I didn't even know who she was talking about. Like when Locke made, did all those things, I didn't even pick up on it. I was like, no, like it's totally gonna be Carden. Like from the very beginning, even before any of this stuff happened.
And then it kind of came
And then it
true
totally
also.
came full circle, and I'm like, Carden was my favorite from the beginning.
I think that all of these characters were, how do I word this, like, you can hate aspects of them,
Mm-hmm.
and you can love every single one. Maddox, Jude, and Taryn.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, obviously Taryn, oh my god.
Oh, y'all, we're talking about my least favorite character. It's Taryn! Except for I do think that she is just ambitious in a way that is different.
I think she's just trying to survive.
So is Jude.
So that whole relationship with Locke, she didn't really care about him. It was just to survive.
No, I think, oh gosh, I don't know.
Did Taryn really
Maybe
care
at
about
first.
Locke? Or because
Maybe at first.
you would think that she'd be a lot more upset with Jude being with Locke.
What, like a little stupid,
I know,
the way he
I know.
talked and stuff?
He was awful.
Manipulating.
He was 10 times worse than
was
Carden,
awful.
in my opinion.
Oh, I don't know.
I
Carden
think
is a terrible person.
I think that Carden was abused and neglected,
Mhm.
and he had to.
Here we go.
He had to listen.
Here we go.
Nobody loved him. He got kicked out of the palace. He was with his abusive brother,
Yeah.
and so all he knew, the entire temperament in his home was hate and brutality, and he became that.
Okay.
You not agree with me?
No, I agree with you. That's why he became that. But he was just... He
No
was
excuse
just...
for his
But the
behavior.
other ones were not as bad, and they had the same life.
Which ones? What are you talking
Like the other royals.
I think he kind of explains, though, why he gave that kind of weird reason that I'm not 100% on board with. It's like, oh, I'm so jealous of you that your dad loves you. My dad didn't love me. Or
Yeah,
something to that effect.
Her dad murdered her
Yeah.
parents in front of... We didn't even like say spoilers or anything. We just went right into it. Spoilers! So I guess that happens on like the first 2 pages.
Yeah.
But I think that all
Way
of
to
that...
open a book.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
I think that it all goes back to this quote I wrote down, and it says, I know I shouldn't love it as I do, stolen as I am from the mortal world, my parents murdered, but I love it all the same. I thought that that was like a really good way to explain this world, because everything in this world, we love it and we hate it. You'll just be so in love with it, and then like something terrible will happen, and you're like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I loved it, and that's exactly how I would be.
And everything she does is to stay in the world. She doesn't want to go back to the mortal world. When she had the opportunity to go, she didn't take it.
So would you guys stay there?
Yes.
I don't know.
No, probably not.
I know this sounds awful, but I feel like I would be like Taryn. Just give me a little husband. I want to be in the action, but I want protection.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jude was like the protector of her own, and she had to be pretty ruthless.
Ruthless and brutal.
There you go.
Okay, so your favorite was Carden. Your favorite was...
Carden.
Okay.
Because
My
I
favorite
want to love him.
was... It would be Carden.
Mhm.
I think he's a terrible person. He's so mean. And I'm confused.
I think he's confused.
But I like him at the same time. But I love the name Jude. As well.
For a girl?
It's one of my favorite names
That's
ever.
pretty.
For a boy or for a girl?
Either, I think.
'Cause I know a lot of boys named Jude.
Yeah. I did have to write down these little trees because I couldn't remember everybody's name.
That was the one thing that frustrated me. Only in the beginning because it was so new. Like, you know, that first scene where she goes to the party that they're having in the ballroom and she's like, oh, there's this princess and there's this prince and there's this lady and that lord. And I'm like,
Yeah.
too many names in one
I read
chapter.
it twice,
Like,
yeah.
But after you get to know them all, the way that it all unfolds, oh my goodness, that scene. So I guess it is spoilers, so they're all murdered
Red Wedding style.
brutally. Yes.
But then to find out that Dane really wasn't as honorable as we had thought he was.
I had a hard time figuring out who the cruel prince was.
There's
There's so many.
Yeah, they're all cruel.
They're all cruel.
I immediately thought Carden, but then as I kept reading, I was like, trying to figure it out.
And then but I read, I guess, Wicked King
Right.
is the next book, so I guess.
But then it's like you don't know who the king is going to be, so it
You're
could
right.
be anybody. And I like didn't read the bio of the second. Didn't
I
read
haven't
the
either.
summary. I just did after I finished this.
Can I ask off camera what spoiler? Or you won't tell?
Wait, what? What's?
She read a spoiler for Wicked King. She's mad about it.
I want to know now. Can I know?
Do you want?
I don't care about spoilers. I'm not one that cares about spoilers.
I want to know too.
On a Bookstagram account, it said, "What's your favorite couple? Fictional couple?" And somebody put Jude and Carden, and I was like,
That's not a spoiler.
"No, it is a spoiler. He hates her right now."
No.
Which goes into my
No.
theories.
See, I don't think he does. I think that
you
she's
know I've got him.
madly in love with her.
Can't wait to read this.
I don't think he hates her at all. I think he's madly in love with her.
But it's just that moment when she said,
This is
Don't.
dysfunctional.
"Do not move a muscle for the next minute," and you're
Yes.
like, "What's about to happen?" Because and then I was like, "Oh, she's afraid that he is going to back out, and then he's gonna like put the crown on his head."
Yeah.
And when Oak went up to her and she was like, "Say what we said,"
I was not
like,
expecting that.
I was not expecting that at all. And she was like, "I have taken the life that he wanted, and that I promised him." She has said from like page 1, like in the actual book, not in the, that she wanted power, that she wanted to feel powerful in this world. It kind of is eye-opening rereading again. I read the beginning again.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, oh, well, she meant it. And Taryn meant it. That's what she was going to do to survive. That's what Jude was going to do to survive. And she wanted power.
So the end of this book, when he says, "Come sit on the throne," do you think that she is going to have a big role in ruling the kingdom? Because if she's so power hungry, right?
I think he's going to make her.
I think she's gonna be queen.
I think so.
I think they're totally gonna be. Do you know?
But not in a good way. I think he's going to force her to marry him.
Oh, you think?
Yes.
That sounds like something he would do. I got to the end of it and like that part where he's crowned king. I knew, I was like, it's too easy just that they're gonna crown Oak. Like I didn't think that that was gonna happen. What I thought was gonna happen, because didn't they learn something in their lesson that said something about having a mortal and a fae like have to team up to take the throne, or like something to the effect of like a couple has to come together to take the throne. And so, but when I got to the end of it, I'm like, she's totally gonna have to like marry Carden to like make this work, and something to that effect. Like, didn't they learn something in their lesson, or am I just imagining that?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
I remember something about that. And so anyway, when I was reading that, I was like, she's totally gonna have to become the queen if he's gonna be the king. So,
Yeah.
but
What I found in doing these videos is everyone sort of picks up little things from the book
Mhm.
that like the other people miss. Like all of us, all three of us.
Mhm.
Like, no, oh yeah, it's really cool. So maybe we missed it and you caught it, and there's something in there like
I'll have
that.
to go back and see if I can find it again, because I remember something like that one of their tutors said very specifically, and I was like, that's gonna come back. Maybe it comes back in the second one.
I cannot imagine being a mortal living fairy. Like in the beginning when she was eating the fruit.
That's a literature reference.
Is it?
Mhm. It's from the Goblin Market, I think. I mean, Holly Black could possibly have not meant it like this, but goblin fruit in Goblin Market is like the same effects in each story. Like if you eat the fruit, then you get like really like delirious and drunk and everything, and they do it as like a joke in the
Yeah.
Goblin Market.
I remember from Ashlad when
Yes, where
they
Laid up.
glamored the rotten food to be like
Yeah.
feasting, and they're just like eating it and eating it.
That's in Dragon
Food.
Prince too.
So
But
these
she
must
doesn't-
be age old.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
myths.
that's like classic mythology of like fairies.
These are pretty much classic fae. And I like that a lot too. Like they're really like can't lie and they can't, you know, like they're really manipulative and it's like a game. Now I feel like Locke will be in love with Jude because she was like, see ya. As soon as like, you know, because they were twins. They were like basically, you know, like he just wanted.
Remember he
both
said
of
that he was
them.
throwing the rocks at the window and it didn't matter whose window it was.
Yes, and I think that summed him up perfectly. But this and there's a quote that he says, unfortunately, but it is one of my favorite ones. And it says, because you're like a story that hasn't happened yet, because I want to see what you will do, I want to be part of the unfolding of the tale.
And can you imagine
that's
how
so
romantic that would be if it was true?
We thought, you know, that he wasn't like as terrible. And then I kind of feel bad for Nicassia. Do you think that Cardan's not still in love with Nicassia?
They had a moment at the ball at the end.
I know. Well, I did like this one, but kissing Locke never felt the way that kissing Cardan does.
Yeah, but then she goes on to talk about how it felt scary and thrilling, right?
I think it's because she loved him. I think it's because she was kind of like shocked that she felt so much.
I think it was also, she had like a knife pointed to him too. It was such an intense moment, you know, and you didn't know which way it was going to turn, whether she was going to kill him or she was going to kiss him. It was such an intense moment.
I was at the hair salon this morning reading that, and that last line I went, sorry. I couldn't hold it. That was perfect. No one was around me. Like I was just waiting for my hair to set, and I was like, "What?" I said it out loud. And I was like,
I was in my car going into work, and I read that part, and I was like screaming in my car, like people were walking by.
like I just never expected you to do that.
Oh, when she kissed Cardan?
Yeah.
I was expecting it. I like it.
Well, and that was more like,
I liked it.
that was more like manipulating though. It was like, I'm just, because he told me that he likes me, because he told me that he's into me, I'm just going to play with him because he's, you know, played with me the whole time.
Being a fae.
She was giving it back to him. So I was like, I read that and I was like, I don't know what to believe right now. Like who, like, do they really like each other? Do they not? Is it just like a power play? Like, I don't know. That was a great scene.
Who was the best character? Not your favorite character, but who do you think was the best character?
Hands down, Maddox.
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. I thought that in my head and I was like, Ashley's going to say Maddox.
How do you define a best character though? Most complex character,
So
has the best
why do you
lines,
think he's the best
like,
character?
There's so much to him. He did cruel things, but then he loves. He loves war, and he dips his red cap in the blood, but then he like takes care of Oak, who's not even his child. He's just he's like a raging storm, and I don't know, he's complicated, and I like that. But everything that he does makes sense to me in that weird human way. Like he's just totally human.
I love the fact that fairies were very evil, but at the same time, they all had something about honor. I have to do the honorable thing. So like with Maddox, like those weren't even his kids, but he was like, it was my wife, so you gotta come with me. He's supposed to be this cruel person, but then all of a sudden it's like he's taking care of all these people who aren't even his.
But it's not like he locked them up in a tower.
Yeah.
Like they were at his supper
Loved
table,
by him.
and
I was
he
gonna say.
put them into school, and he taught them to fight.
And then like Oriana wanted a meal. Like she wanted them all to eat, and it was like insulting to her if they didn't. Like the crowning ceremony, like what we thought was going to be the crowning ceremony, you know, and like he like became completely undressed, and she was like, that's so weird. Like the fae were just like, this is tradition, you know, like that is like what it is.
And like when Maddox like excused his family before he did the killing, like I know it was awfully his murderer, but at the same time like he's taking precautions to shield his family. This is just like George, you guys.
It's weird that you say that because I thought at some point we're going to bring up Paul Dark character, because I was thinking Elizabeth was like Tyrion, and she just is like, I need someone to take care of me, and that's the way that things are right now, and this is what's going to have to be done. Like Demelza would have been like, if Ross were to die in war or anything like that, she would just be like, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to go chop fire with him.
I'll make it.
Do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Just 8 months pregnant, going out and fishing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be Jude.
That's Jude for sure.
And like Elizabeth is like, this is what I have to do.
There's this one quote, I didn't highlight it because I was listening on Audible. It's like after she duels with Tyrion and she asks Maddox, how do you sleep at night? And he replies something to the effect of, the only thing that keeps me up at night is not embracing who I really am, like not embracing the monster inside. Like the idea that like not fighting who he really is and his nature, like that bloodthirstiness that he has, is like what gives him peace. Like the only reason I would lose sleep is if, you know, I denied who I am.
Yeah. It said that, like, you know, some fairies are gifted in sword making, some are gifted in the lute playing, and like Madoc was gifted in war. It's okay.
And I thought that was a great response. She asks him, "How do you sleep at night?" And he replies, "Some are good with pipe or paint, some have skill in love. My talent is making war. The only thing that has ever kept me awake was denying it."
That's a good quote.
And in the same scene, he says, like, "Oh, Jude, like we should talk about your behavior tonight." And she's like, "We should talk about your behavior tonight." Like, you just murdered everybody and you want to talk about my behavior?
Yeah.
I literally in the car all by myself, I was like, "Go, Jude."
She's strong.
In that same scene, he says, "If you want my advice, love doesn't grow well fed on pain. Grant me that I know that at least. I love you and I love Taryn, but I don't think she's suited for Locke." And so then Jude says, "And I am." And he says, "I don't think Locke is suited for you." And I just love that.
It's a nice daddy thing to say.
That was a very nice dad thing to
Yeah.
say. Like, Taryn's never going to be enough for Locke. And I think that he will chase Jude. If he feels remorse, like, I don't know if a character like him can.
I hope that Carden's like, she's mine.
I'm sure he will.
Do you think there's going to be a wedding?
Well, the third
What's
one's
gonna
called
happen?
Queen of Nothing, so I'm assuming that they get
Yeah, the
married.
third one.
The third one's called
just came
Queen
out,
of
the
Nothing,
cover.
so I'm assuming that they do get married.
I'm talking about Taryn and Locke.
Oh, Taryn and Locke.
I wonder if it'll, because I did read like just an excerpt, like the beginning, like maybe like Taryn and Locke will get married and something crazy will happen at the wedding. I hope that he can't say his vows because he doesn't mean them.
He can't lie.
Because he can't lie.
Oh my god.
And then it's gonna be super duper awkward. And then everybody just has to go with it.
Do they have real, like, I wonder what it is if it's a marriage like we know. You know, like a wedding like we
Yes.
know. Or is it like get naked and have people write on you for like a crowning? You get a
Right, yeah, like different
I
traditions.
Yeah,
loved
thank you.
that.
That's what I should have said.
I loved it. I love that. I like all their different ceremonies. Like, I love when somebody creates a fantasy world. I love their tradition. Me. Theory time. I think that Carden might marry Nicassia. I think he might marry Jude. So I think that because Wicked King, it shows like the crown going into the water, and that's what Nicassia's mom's queen of right now.
Yeah.
It has crossed my mind that maybe he marries her mom out of spite, like he's so mad and he wants a connection to the underwater or whatever it's called. But then I'm like, maybe her mom just dies and Nicassia becomes queen. Then there would be a connection there. And Jude's gonna have to tell him, like, if she wants him to get married or not. What if she's even more cruel and she doesn't let him? What if it happens within the year? If that's what happens. And she's like,
And he's under her spell.
or what if she makes him? Because it'll be like a
I was just gonna say, it'd probably be the opposite, yeah.
she would
For
make him.
diplomatic
Like, for
reasons.
diplomatic reasons, because she's the one calling the shots.
And
so
she's like, I need to protect the throne
Yep.
for Oak.
So it sounds like the opposite. He'd probably be like, I want to marry you, and she'll be like, no.
Because the third one's called Queen of Nothing, which is referenced in this book. She's the Queen of Nothing. And
Yeah, and her nickname's the Queen.
the Queen.
Which I was like, there you
So
go.
maybe something happens to where it all crumbles. So then she's like the Queen of Nothing.
Ooh.
Like the whole kingdom.
Collapses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Carden would get married, period.
I think he's just gonna,
He's just going on to drink wine and party and
like he said, because he's so charismatic.
yeah, he's a bachelor.
The scene when she comes back and they're all like playing cards with him and
Yes.
drinking it, I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
That would just make me furious.
I know.
If I was Jude.
You untied him?
I thought maybe she might fall in love and then Carden doesn't let it happen. Like something happens to where he like stops it.
A whole new boy.
Yeah.
Who did you think was going to be Taryn's betrothed?
Carden.
Did you really?
I did. I thought it
I
was
thought
gonna
it
be
was
Carden.
going to be Prince Dane. Because they put that...
That crossed my mind too.
Because they put that thing about like a poem that he wrote for a fair-haired
Right.
woman, and it ended up being that the Oak's mom, right? I forget her name. What was her name again?
Little
Was
Rope?
it? Little Rope. Because that was the a breadcrumb to being him being Oak's dad.
That goes into a Trilogy Tribe topic that one of our viewers wanted to discuss. She said that Holly Black relies on people's own perspective to make you feel things for certain characters without backing it up too much in the book. We didn't expect Taryn and Locke to be together, because you just immediately wouldn't think, hey, I'm gonna let my sister like date the guy that I'm in love with. So in our minds, like it obviously was Locke. They were always together. She was so concerned about what Locke was saying, but in our minds we're like, that would never happen. You know. And then like, Taryn and Jude being close. Tiffany used the example of Taryn and Jude being so close because they were twins, but when I reread it, she doesn't really ever talk about like them being close. Like, it's really interesting. I thought that, I agree with her that that's a very unique writing style that I hadn't really thought of.
Like with Carden, it's the same thing with him, because you're in Jude's perspective of how she's grown up with him and how she feels about him, but then of course she becomes a spy and she goes into his life and she sees him in a new light, you know? She definitely does play with our perceptions of people.
Did you like her writing style?
Long pause.
Contemplation. I did. It was unique. I wouldn't say it was my favorite because I enjoy a lot of description.
Yeah.
But it worked for this story. I do think that she threw out names of things and she expected us to know like what a Nixie was and what a Sprite was. Like, she didn't say a Sprite that was this size with golden wings and it was like a Sprite and a Nixie and it was like I didn't know what most of those Fae were.
Yeah, a little like index in the back would have been cool.
Would have been cool.
That
Or
would
like
have
a
been
cartoon
cool.
drawing or like
Yeah, definitely. Even like a royal tree.
Yeah.
Callie made one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like
Swirly.
that would have been
Swirly
helpful. Yeah, because especially in the beginning, it was like so many names, and I was, you know, you have to keep them all straight. So
And then it would be like flip at the end of the book and like, oh,
be like spoilers. Can we talk about the similarities that we saw between Cruel Prince and Strange the Dreamer? Because you and I were talking about this the other day.
Ooh, interesting.
Because we said, oh, there were so many things that made us think of Strange the Dreamer, and of course, Holly Black and Laini Taylor are very close friends. When we had that conversation, Ashley and I told her what part I was at, and she said, you're about to get to a part where it's going to make you think of Strange the Dreamer. And I think the part that you were talking about was when Oak makes her slap herself.
no, it wasn't.
Oh,
See,
good
that
call.
totally made me think of the loop, Laini Taylor's loop.
Yes.
Because he kept making her slap herself over and over again. Remember, she was like red, and like a servant had to come take Oak away because he didn't know what he was doing, and he was like laughing like that baby, like the
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
what were you thinking?
I was thinking that there were some similarities between Carden and Thyone. Because Strange Laszlo was behind that tunnel seeing Thyone be beaten by his dad.
That did.
Okay, yeah.
And it was like literally they kind of played similar characters, I think. A little bit. Maybe. Carden way more in
I was
the
gonna
story,
say,
but
yeah.
a little bit snarky.
I thought that
mean,
Thyone, his development was, but then again,
Right.
I've read
both
all
books.
of them.
Yeah.
I haven't read Wicked King yet. I will the second I get home.
I feel like Carden is moving in that direction.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I want Carden to be redeemed. I just want him to have a really good life, and he almost had it. And his dream was different than he's gonna get for a long time. And I think that's very sad. There's a part where she talks about the green sash. There's a huge thing in medieval literature about the green sash, and it's from Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. And it's like this huge story, King Arthur story.
Wow, that's also in Sophia the First.
Is it really?
Yeah, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, then the green sash.
Good.
Yeah.
Princess Sophia. I love her.
Disney Junior. Some other similarities. There were blue people. There were plums mentioned.
Plums. I was about to say the plums. There was someone who had a power to manipulate metal, didn't they? She mentioned at one point, very briefly. It didn't come up very much, but I remembered it because it made me think of Laini Taylor.
Well, it did talk about birds and stuff flying, didn't it? Like,
yeah,
there was
like someone.
It was Queen Mab, wasn't it? Didn't she, or Mob? Didn't she get somebody to forge the crown or something, and it was like a bunch of different stuff? What about that girl killing herself and then they had her at the party? She was never mentioned again.
That might come back. That sounds
right,
like
because she
something that
goes
would
and
come
talks
back.
to that
Yes.
king or that queen.
I remember that
Do you
part.
remember
That was
No, say that again. It was at Rhea?
Remember? I don't remember her. I don't remember her name. But
Was it
you know, she
Vivi's
jumps.
friend?
Oh,
It's the maid
Yes.
that she gets, and then she remembers everything, and she's like, I don't want to do it. So she jumps, and then at the crowning,
Mm-hmm.
she goes in coronation, and she's like there, like she's like
Yeah. And
dark,
then
and
she's wet, right?
yeah. But then Jude goes and talks to whoever she's with, but she wasn't there.
Yeah, she's like, maybe I imagined it. That's what she said. She said, maybe I
Maybe I
imagined it.
imagined it because she had heard stories of them picking them up, like
Right.
sailors and stuff.
Oh, that's
The Fae are
freaky.
dark, y'all.
A lot of the reviews that I've seen on The Cruel Prince is that they couldn't put it down. You just
And
because
that's
it
how it
truly
is.
is a fast-paced storyline. There's always something coming up.
And that was one more point that one of our Trilogy tribe brought up, that there's something so addictive about it. You can't stop reading. It's like ACOTAR. There's just something about it where you're like, I can read this entire book, and if you have the time, I read this book in like 2.5 days. We have one viewer that read it, both of them, within this span of like a few days.
Wow.
And I would have,
yeah.
but my emotions would be written all over my face.
Do you see a little bit of resemblance between Tamlin and Locke?
Tamlin, in his sick, twisted way, thought he was the good guy. He thought he was the hero, golden hero of spring.
Yeah.
You know, the golden god of spring, whatever it is that Reeson called him. That's who Tamlin thought he was. Locke knew he was just
Blind.
wicked. Yeah.
I agree with
Yeah.
that.
So what are some of y'all's theories?
I definitely think Jude Carvin are gonna get married.
Okay.
Something's gonna happen with Oak. Like, I don't know.
I know.
Something's gotta happen. That was too easy just to, oh, he's gonna be in the human world.
I say Nicasia.
Nicasia. I like that.
And like Nicasia.
I like that.
And you know, I said Scathis and you were saying Scathis.
Yeah.
This, I think, I can't remember now, but I like them both.
Yeah.
That's interesting that we all read this book differently. Different forms of media. I did
Kindle,
Kindle,
Audible,
real book.
old school.
Like when I was reading, like here in my room, I would be following along,
Mhm.
but I, trying to use my time effectively, so I was reading, going into work. It's like a performance, for someone to read it. Like they do different voices for different characters, and they
Oh, so
read
you got
it.
a good one.
Yeah, the ones I read Strange and I read this one, and they've both been really good.
You have any theories?
I'm struggling with my theories. I don't. I feel like she wrapped it up so good that I can't.
She did.
I feel like she wrapped everything up so good that like there's like it would be great if there could just be peace now for 7 years, and then Oak comes in and it's seamless. But
Because it's such a great plan.
it is.
And that's what upset me so
what
much.
could possibly go wrong?
That's what upset me so much about the whole thing. Maybe, I wonder if they can glamour each other, because then, what's the prince that's still alive? Balin?
Balkan.
Yeah.
Should show that to the
She
camera.
could-
That is
That is
beautiful.
so
I love a good doodle. And I really like the book. I think that, what if Belkin glamours one of the guards, escapes, then he goes, or what if he still has feet on the ground outside of the tower? Kill him.
Why did they put him in a tower?
Right, I was just gonna say, the reason that he's still alive, something's gonna happen with him. He's gotta escape somehow.
And he blocked Carden from the bullet, like he threw his body over Carden's.
But that was not because he loved him. It's because only he could put the crown on his face.
Oh man, I forgot.
He thought it was some brotherly
Dang, I thought
love.
that it was brotherly love.
No, he was the only one.
Personal gain.
Yeah.
Dang, you're right.
And if he had known about Oak at that time, probably
And-
would have just saved Oak instead.
That is so sad, because I really thought, like, oh wow,
There's some good in him.
there's some good in him, and that's gonna make Carden
Mm-hmm.
crown him instead of Oak. That's what I thought was gonna happen. I couldn't remember.
She mentioned that. She was like, "Oh no, I didn't think about this. That like, they're still family at the
Maybe
end of all
love,
this."
yeah, because she still loved Matt.
I thought, this is going back to the beginning, but I thought that there was a possibility Jude was going to fall in love with Prince Dane. Were you surprised that he turned out to be so bad, or like were you expecting him to be good the whole time?
I thought he was gonna be worse. I thought he was gonna be the cruel prince.
I like how Oak got his name.
Yeah.
It kind of made me think of, this is gonna be weird because only you and I read this one, the selection series, because that part where she says, "We were both consorts to the king. We should have hated each other, but we were best friends." And it made me think of the selection series because they all compete for the king, but they all end up becoming best friends with one another in the process. So
Ariana and the little girl.
yes, so I thought that was a great relationship, and she saves, Oak at the end,
And she's like, take my son, take him far from here.
Which is another example of Holly Black just assuming, because like we didn't think about her past the entire book. We just assumed like, oh, she married Maddox, and that was just what it is.
Whatever.
And then when Jude said, I never thought about what she did before, I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she has a past.
Yeah.
oh yeah, she's lived a whole life.
Man, I cannot wait to see how she does this, because she is still immortal in the Fae world. So I have no idea how she's going to handle being, because I honestly and truly think Cardan's going to make her run the realm. I think that's her punishment.
I think maybe that Cardan will, like he hinted at in the end of the book, that he may like ruling.
Yes.
What if he gets like this power complex and all of a sudden he's like,
What's going to happen after that year is over?
That makes me nervous.
Me too.
And not a minute more.
I definitely think Wicked King is going to be the whole time period. Like, we're going to see that moment. That breaks.
Too. And
like,
then
that's
going to be like over.
Something's going to happen.
Then I'm going to have to wait a year for Queen of Nothing. Are you
yeah.
So when does it come out?
I guess next year, because all the bookstagrammers are talking about it. And they're like, we don't have a copy, or like we don't have like anything like that. We just have there's an excerpt and then the cover.
I have a question. What main ideas or themes does the author explore in this book?
The desire for power.
The pros and cons of it.
Yes, the good sides and the dark sides of ambition.
Because a lot of times we see, like, oh, everything just like tied up in a perfect bow, but she had to make some hard decisions.
Oh yeah.
But she's powerful for a year. I would be getting
for a year and a day.
I would be getting some gold stashed away. Is all I'm saying, for a house.
I would be trying to figure out how to sneak him into another one.
If you were Jude, what would you do? She's definitely gonna try.
She may use love.
I was just about to say that.
Why? That's what you think she'd do?
What?
I think she's gonna,
try to get his heart.
Get his heart.
Or sensually try to be his fix.
Can she not say, I command you to give me 7 years?
Yeah.
There must be rules against
There must
that.
be a way.
Can't wish for more wishes.
A loophole.
I don't know. If I had a genie, I'd say, number 1 wish, you can't kill me or have me killed.
So
number 2, I want 1,000,000 wishes.
You're breaking
so,
your mind.
So
You're
was
mine.
that? So was that actual magic that she like glamored him?
Or
is
did
that
to
just
her?
Right. That's what I'm saying. So is it just like, you have my word for a year, I'll do what you say, or was that actual like magic that was compelled?
Magic.
It was real magic.
It was
okay.
real magic.
Because I was just gonna say, I was trying to figure that out. Like, I didn't realize that there was actual magic because it was her, like a mortal, doing that. So I was like, okay, he's just giving his word. Like they follow their honor, the whole
And then
honor
it was
thing.
magic. It was a magical
And then
binding.
it was okay.
But he gave it to her.
Oh,
He was
okay.
the Fae. He said, I put myself into your service.
It was like
okay.
when Dane said, you cannot be glamored anymore unless I'm the one that glamours you. And as soon as he said that, I thought, I'm so glad that got handled.
When Valerian said jump off this tower, how could you be so cruel?
It just was. And that's the kind of people that Cardan surrounds himself with.
She murders him in
Yes.
like cold blood. That shocked me. I was like,
Me too.
she buries the body, doesn't even tell anybody. That's like hard to
I
do.
know. Under the bed.
And he has that gold powder.
Oh my
I
gosh.
feel like that gold powder is going to come into a lot more play.
Like it was like a drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she like
But you
told-
can like see it. I thought that scene was
Mm.
so like, and then like, oh my gosh, there's a dead body under her bed now.
She's like, I hope it turns into mulch. Remember?
Yeah. And then she told Cardan. Cardan was like, he didn't even care.
Well, he was like, he deserves it for coming into your house.
Wow.
And then I thought that was a beautiful scene when they kill the king and he like it like is like wisps.
Moths.
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 He turned into like a bunch of moths.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But
There were so many things that made
If
me
I-
think of Strange.
if
Yeah.
I was a writer and my best friend was a writer, I would put some stuff.
You can't help it, because you just think, and
Yeah.
you're
And
inspired by
they
the same
probably have
things.
talked and like sat on the couch
Mhm.
together and they're
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna put this. And
Yep.
We have
Yep.
some things.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have lots of things.
Yeah.
Got lots of things.
Mhm.
Even themes end up being.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think we have some of the same
I
themes.
wonder if somebody will find this video one day.
After we're bestseller.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching our review of The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Make sure to like and subscribe, share with all of your book friends, and drop a comment on what you thought about The Cruel Prince in the comments below. We love to hear from you guys. See you in the next video. Bye! Bye!
I will stay, don't mind the way. I won't play, don't like the game, 'cause I will stay. And I